Mr. Grinch, you really are a heel. You're as cuddly as a cactus, you're as charming as an eel, Mr. Grinch. You're a bad banana with a greasy black peel. You're a monster, Mr. Grinch. Your heart's an empty hole. Your brain is full of spiders. You've got garlic in your soul, Mr. Grinch. I wouldn't touch you with a 39.5-foot pole. You're a foul one, Mr. Grinch. You're a nasty, wasty skunk. Your heart is full of unwashed socks. Your soul is full of gunk, Mr. Grinch. The three words that best describe you are as follows, and I quote: stink, stank, stunk. You're a vile one, Mr. Grinch. You have termites in your smile. You have all the tender sweetness of a seasick crocodile, Mr. Grinch. And given the choice between the two of you, I'd pick the seasick crocodile. You're a rotter, Mr. Grinch. You're the king of sinful sops. Your heart's a dead tomato, and you're spotted with woolly spots, Mr. Grinch. Your soul is an appalling dump heap, overflowing with the most disgraceful assortment of deplorable rubbish imaginable, mangled up, entangled up knots. You nauseate me, Mr. Grinch, with a nauseous super nosh. You're a crooked, jerky jockey, and you drive a crooked horse, Mr. Grinch. You're a three-decker sauerkraut and toadstool sandwich with arsenic sauce.
But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoe, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve, hating balloons, staring down from his cave with a sour, Grinchy frown, as the warm lighted windows below in their town. For he knew every hoot out in Whoville beneath was busy now, hanging a mistletoe wreath.
And they're hanging their stockings,
He snarled with a sneer,
tomorrow's Christmas. It's practically here.
and he growled with his Grinch fingers nervously drumming.
I must find some way to stop Christmas from coming.
For tomorrow, he knew, all the Who girls and boys would wake bright and early. They'd rush for their toys. And then, oh, the noise. Oh, the noise, 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 noise. That's the one thing he hated. The noise, 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 noise. Then the Who's, young and old, would sit down to a feast. And they'd feast. And they'd feast, 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 feast. They would feast on Who pudding and the rare Who roast beast, which was something the Grinch couldn't stand in the least. And then they'd do something he liked least of all. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, would stand close together with Christmas bells ringing. They'd stand hand in hand, and the Who's would start singing. And he chuckled and clucked.
What a great Grinchy trick. With this coat and this hat, I'll just like St. Nick. All I need is a reindeer.
The Grinch looked around, but since reindeer are scarce, there's none to be found. Did that stop the old Grinch? No. He simply said,
If I can find the reindeer, I'll make one instead.
So he called his dog Max and took some red thread, and he tied a big horn on the top of his head. On a ramshackle sleigh, he hitched a bolt Max. Then the Grinch said,
Giddy up.
and the sleigh started down toward the homes where the Who's made news of their town. All their windows were dark, quiet snow filled the air. All the Who's were all dreaming sweet dreams without care. When he came to the first little house on the square, this was stop number 1, the old Grinch in claws hissed, and he climbed to the roof with 2 bags in his fist. Then he slid down the chimney, a rather tight pinch, but if Santa could do it, then so could the Grinch. He got stuck only once for a moment or two, then he stuck his head out of the fireplace flue, where the little Who stopped himself hung in a row.
These stockings
He grinned.
are the first things taken.
Then he snuck to the icebox. And he took the Who's Feast. He took the Who pudding. He took the roast feast. He cleaned out that icebox as quick as a flash. Why, that Grinch even took the last pan of Who hash. Then he stuffed all the food up the chimney flea.
And now
Grinned the Grinch.
I'll stuff out the tree.
And the Grinch grabbed the tree and he started to shove. When he heard a small sound like the coo of a dove, he turned around fast and he saw a small Who, little Cindy Lou Who was not more than 2. The Grinch had been caught by his tiny Who daughter, who got out of bed for a cup of cold water. She stared at the Grinch and said,
Santa Claus, why? Why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why?
but you know, that old Grinch was so smart and so slick, he thought of the lie, thought it up quick.
Why, my sweet little tot.
The big Santa Claus lied.
There's a light on this tree that won't light on one side. So I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there, and I'll bring it back here.
And his fig fooled the child. Then he patted her head and got her a drink and sent her to bed. And when Cindy Lou Who went to bed with her cup, he went to the chimney and stuffed the tree up. And the last thing he took was a log for their fire. Then he went up the chimney himself, the old liar, and the one speck of food that he left in the house was a crumb that was even too small for a mouse. Then he did the same thing to the other Who's houses, leaving crumbs much too small for the other Who's mouses. It was courthouse dark. All the Who's still abed, all the Who's still asleep, when he packed up his sled. Packed up with the presents, the ribbons, the rabbits, the tags, and the tinsel, the trimmings, and the trappings. He rode with his load to the tip-top to dump it.
Poo-poo to the doo.
He was viciously humming.
They're finding out that no Christmas is coming. They're just waking up now. I know Christmas is due. Their mouths hang open and multitude. Then the Who's down
the Grinch put his hand to his ear, and he did hear a sound rising from the snow. It started in low, then it started to grow. The sound wasn't sad, but the sound sounded merry. It couldn't be so, but it was very, very. He stared down at Whoville, the Grinch popped his eyes, then he shook. What he saw was a shock and surprise. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and small, was singing without any presents at all. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came. Somehow or other, it came just the same.
And the Grinch's heart didn't feel quite so tight. He whizzed with his load through the bright morning light, and he brought back the toys and the food for the feast.
Indeed, he himself, the Grinch, carved the roast beef. On Christmas Day, when the Grinch's heart grew, he learned something new